Players ready? Players ready? Coach ready? Coach ready? Number one is a toss-up. This contemporary musical has earned more Tony Awards than any other.
Thoughtful Eric.
Correct. Bonus 2. By what more common name is the Decalogue in the Old Testament of the Bible known?
The Ten Commandments.
Correct. Captain? Captain. Toss-up 3. Express the decimal number 25 as a binary number.
Thoughtful Keith.
11001.
Correct. Bonus 4. Gustatory receptors function in which of the 5 human senses?
Smell.
Incorrect. Captain?
Taste.
Correct. Toss-up 5. Between 1945 and 1991, this form of government was portrayed as a principal rival.
Thoughtful Lance. Communism.
Correct. Bonus 6. Often called the father of modern art, he was the single greatest influence on both Matisse and Picasso. The works of this 20th century French painter include Still Life with Apples and The Backers. Name him.
Cezanne.
Correct. Toss-up 7. In ancient Greece, dithyrambs, were hymns of praise.
Thoughtful Lance. Dionysus.
Correct. Bonus 8. In angle measure, how many seconds make up a degree?
$3,600.
Correct.
Time.
Time to call.
Anybody have a pencil? Oh, thanks.
I was going to work out some logarithms. No.
Players ready? Players ready? Coach ready? Coach ready? Time called back in. I'll toss up 9. The 3 small divisions of this major modern group of plants are Psychodophyta, Ginkgophyta, and Dendophyta. What is this group of plants whose large and familiar division is Coniferophyta?
Josh. Gymnosperm.
Correct. Bonus 10. One of the most famous ones involved the reading aloud of the Washington, D.C. phone book. What technique is meant to hold up a final vote of a bill in the Senate?
Filibuster.
Correct. Toss-up 11. Its elegant, balanced works revive the order and harmony of ancient Greek and Roman art.
Neoclassicism.
Correct. Bonus 12. Said to have been the outlawed Earl of Huntingdon in disguise, what legendary English outlaw could often be found in Sherwood Forest with Friar Tuck, Little John, and Maid Marian?
Robin Hood.
Correct. Toss-up 13. Find the surface area of a sphere with radius 5 centimeters.
Johnson Swampy.
105 centimeters squared.
Correct. Bonus 14. It is defined as a tissue formed as a result of interactions between the inner lining of the mammalian uterus and the extra-embryonic chorion. Identify this biological structure which serves as the connection through which exchanges of nutrients and waste take place between the blood of the mother and that of the embryo.
Placenta.
Correct. Toss-up 15. Known for her Kmart commercials.
Dr. Josh. Martha Stewart.
Correct. Bonus 16. Maya Lin was a student at Yale University when she designed the Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., on which are inscribed the names of the American soldiers who died in what conflict?
Vietnam.
Correct. Toss-up 17. Said to have been a member of Sir Walter Raleigh's School of Knight, he was murdered by Ingram Frizzer in Elwood.
Hotville Eric.
Christopher Marlowe.
Correct. Bonus 18. A pizza with a diameter of 12 inches is cut into 6 equal slices. What is the area of each slice? Correct. Toss-up 19. Identify the unusual ventral locomotion structures found only in members of the phylum Echinodonta. Excuse me?
Pseudopause.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. Identify the unusual ventral locomotion structures found only in members of the phylum Echinodermata.
Johnson Josh. Gastropause.
Incorrect. 2 feet. Toss up 20. In sociology, what term refers to the process by which members of minority groups...
Possible lab. Assimilation.
Correct. Bonus 21. As this quantity increases, the pitch of a musical note being played is raised. Name this unit of measurement equal to the number of cycles being played per second and measured in hertz.
Frequency.
Correct. Also 22. Popular during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, what type of literary narratives are meant to convey a symbolic meaning?
Johnson Gavin.
Allegory.
Correct. Bonus 23. Find the missing leg of the given right triangle. One leg measures 24 centimeters and the hypotenuse measures 51 centimeters.
45 centimeters.
Correct. Toss up 24. Some viruses have a unique method of replication, whereby the RNA serves as a template for
Johnson
simple...
Josh. Retrovirus.
Correct.
Yeah, I think
What
so.
time? Now the bonus, 25. Much was made of its fall in July 2002. What is the most common industrial average discussed on the news that judges how stocks are doing?
Dow Jones.
Judge?
Correct.
Toss up 26. On May 29, 1913, a ballet depicting scenes of pagan Russia prompted fistfights in the aisle of the Paris Theater where it premiered. Name this ballet composed by Igor Stravinsky.
Possible Eric.
Firebird.
Incorrect.
Johnson Swampy.
B fiber.
Incorrect. The Rite of Spring. Toss up 27. Give the complete name in your answer. The governor of which American colony wrote the following line? We shall be in a...
Possible Eric.
Massachusetts Bay Colony.
Correct. Bonus 28. Subtract the vector. They have a less than sign, -7, comma, -2 greater than sign, from the vector less than sign 4, comma, -3 greater than sign.
Does make for also 82.
Incorrect. Captain?
Does make 12.
11 -1.
Correct. Toss up 29. In the cell cycle, the G1, S, and G...
Johnson Josh. Interface.
Correct. Bonus 30. Many of these people are still found in Africa and the Middle East. What is this term for a person who moves from place to place, usually seasonally, within a well-defined territory?
Nomad.
Correct. Toss up 31. He was well known for his art songs or lieder, but which German composer's 8th Symphony is...
Possible Eric.
Franz Schubert.
Correct. Bonus 32. Subtitle, Life Among the Lowly, it was written to expose the evils of the fugitive slave law. What work by Harriet Beecher Stowe is often listed as one of the causes of the Civil War?
Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Correct. Also 33. Solve for x and express your answer as a mixed number. 5x minus 3 equals 39.
Possible for all. X equals 14 over 5.
Incorrect.
Johnson Kevin.
X is equal to 8 and 2 fifths.
Correct. Bonus 34. This chemical causes a bird's liver to break down the hormones that metabolize calcium at the time of egg production, resulting in thin-shelled, fragile eggs. Identify this chemical whose use as a common insecticide has been widely discontinued.
DDT.
Correct. Toss up 35. Spanish is the predominant language throughout South America.
Johnson Kevin.
Brazil.
Correct. Bonus 36. It has a harmonic curve, and usually the bass string, are played with the left hand and the treble with the right. But before that, the player sits and tilts the frame back to rest it on his or her right shoulder. What instrument is it?
Harp.
Correct.
Time out.
Time called.
I took it off myself.
10 seconds. Players ready? Players ready? Coach ready? Coach ready?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Coach ready? Time called back in. Toss-up number 37. In which of his satirical works does Jonathan Swift ironically...
Pop the lamp.
I'm honest proposal.
Correct. Bonus 38. If f of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 1, find f of negative 1.
4.
Correct. Toss-up 39. What 14-letter term beginning with A is defined as the chemical reaction in which two molecules of water react to give one hydronium ion and one hydroxide ion?
Pop the key.
Passive.
Incorrect.
Jonathan Josh.
Neutralization.
Incorrect. Autoionization or autocodolysis. Toss-up 40. He came from a wealthy merchant family but abandoned his possessions after an intensely religious experience. Identified by complete religious name, this religious leader...
Pop the key.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. He came from a wealthy merchant family but abandoned his possessions after an intensely religious experience. Identified by complete religious name, this religious leader whose followers were known as...
Jonathan Swathi.
Siddhartha
Excuse me?
Gautama.
Incorrect. St. Francis of Assisi. Toss-up 41. Nothing, What I Did for Love, and One are three songs from what long-run...
Pop the key.
We all night.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. Nothing, What I Did for Love, and One are three songs from what long-running Broadway musical about tryouts for a musical?
Johnson Willie. Center stage.
Incorrect. A chorus line. Toss-up 42. Two-word answer, please. In the popular children's book by Lewis Carroll, Alice Enters Wonderland by following what character?
Pop the Larry.
White rabbit.
Correct. Bonus 43. Find the y-intercept of the graph of the function y equals 3 plus 4 to the x power.
Zero 7.
Incorrect. Captain?
Number 4.
Incorrect. Correct. Excuse me. Toss-up 44. What chemical property that follows regular trends in the periodic table is defined as the energy released when an electron is added?
Jonathan Swathi.
Ionization energy.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. What chemical property that follows regular trends in the periodic table is defined as the energy released when an electron is added to a gas phase atom or ion of an element?
Pop the key.
Electronegativity.
Incorrect. Electron affinity. Toss-up 45. He was the King of England during the Protestant Reformation.
Jonathan Josh.
Henry VIII.
Correct. Bonus 46. The composer Friedrich Chopin wrote many mazurkas that reflect the folk music of his native country. In what European country did the dance known as the mazurka originate?
Poland.
Correct. Toss-up 47. The French playwright Jean Racine wrote Andromache about the wife of what?
Jonathan Swathi.
Hector.
Correct. Bonus 48. Reduce and simplify. The square root of 18 plus the square root of 8.
5 radical 2.
Correct. Toss-up 49. Sugars often have the empirical chemical formula CH2O. What general biochemical term identifies it?
Pop the key.
Empirical formula.
Excuse me?
Empirical formula.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. Sugars often have the empirical chemical formula CH2O. What general biochemical term identifies these types of sugars?
Johnson Josh.
Simple sugars.
Incorrect. Carbohydrates. Toss-up 50. He was an Austrian Jewish physician who spent most of his adult life in Vienna. Identified as famous psychologist who...
Pop the Larry.
Freud.
Correct. That's the half. Inquiry? Players ready? Players ready? Coach ready? Coach ready? Room 4, second half, with toss-up number 1. Identify the religious philosophy that purports that God created the universe.
Pablo Eric.
Deism.
Correct. Bonus 2. The ghost of an impoverished servant returns from the grave and snatches the coats of citizens in revenge for his death. This is the plot of which short story by Nikolai Gogol?
The Overcoat.
Correct. Toss-up 3. An 8-sided die has 6 red faces and 2 black faces. If the die is rolled twice, what is the probability that the rolls are different colors?
Johnson Kevin.
3/16.
Incorrect.
Pablo Feroz.
1/8.
Incorrect. 3/8. Toss-up 4. If heat is applied to a solution after the solvent has dissolved all the solute, some additional solute can dissolve into the solution. What term describes this phenomenon?
Johnson Josh.
Super concentration.
Incorrect.
Pablo Eric.
Precipitation.
Incorrect. Supersaturation. Toss-up 5. In 1884, most of the European nations attended the Berlin Conference. Among the topics discussed at this conference was how to carve up what continent?
Johnson Willie.
Africa.
Correct. Bonus 6. What country had a feudal society that, during the Heian period from roughly 800 to 1200 AD, was governed by an atheistic called Miyabi? Aesthetic, excuse me.
China.
Incorrect, Captain.
Japan.
Correct. Toss-up 7. Set during World War II, Harriet Arnold's The Doll Maker contrasts the beauty of the Appalachian region, against the harsh industrialization of which city?
Pablo Eric.
Detroit.
Correct. Bonus 8. What is the next term in this sequence? -1, -8, -27.
Maybe 64.
Correct. Toss-up 9. Sulfur is one of the 2 nonmetallic elements that most frequently expand their octets in covalent bonding. Was the other element which forms 5 covalent bonds to chlorine and lies next to sulfur on the periodic table?
Pablo Eric.
Phosphorus.
Correct. Bonus 10. Immediately following World War II, the United States, Great Britain, France, and the Soviet Union all occupied sections of which country?
Germany.
Correct. Toss-up 11. In the Christian faith, what 3-word phrase is used to collectively encompass pride?
Pablo Lance.
The Holy Trinity.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. In the Christian faith, what 3-word phrase is used to collectively encompass pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, and...
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 12. James Clavell's popular novel Shogun describes a turbulent period in the history of which Asian country?
Japan.
Correct. Toss-up 13. What is the conic section that consists of the set of all points in a plane equidistant from a given?
Pablo Lance.
Circle.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. What is the conic section that consists of the set of all points in a plane equidistant from a given point and a given line?
Johnson Josh.
Parabola.
Correct. Bonus 14. The zeroth law of thermodynamics establishes the measurement of this physical quantity. Identify this intensive property, which also represents the average kinetic energy of a system.
Temperature.
Correct. Toss-up 15. The cultural tradition of mainland East Asia is principally embodied by what religion?
Pablo Eric.
Shinto.
Incorrect.
Johnson Josh.
Buddhism.
Correct. Bonus 16. Founded in 1865 by the English minister William Booth, named the international charitable organization dedicated to spreading the Christian faith and to helping those in spiritual or material need.
Salvation Army.
Correct. Toss-up 17. Small letters, unconventional syntax.
Pablo Eric.
E.B. Cummings.
Correct. Bonus 18. This question requires a multi-part answer. Compared to the graph of y equal 1 over x, which 2 ways is the graph of y equal 5 plus 1 over the quantity x plus 2 closed quantity shifted?
Of 5 to the left 2.
Judge?
Incorrect.
Captain?
Thanks for walking.
To the left, 5 up.
Judge?
Incorrect.
Correct answer is left and up. Toss-up 19. This physical quantity explains why it is easier to open a door by pushing near the handle instead of pushing near the hinge, and why carpenter's wrenches have long handles. What quantity?
Top of the lamp.
Leverage.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. This physical quantity explains why it is easier to open a door by pushing near the handle instead of pushing near the hinge, and why carpenter's wrenches have long handles. What quantity is equal to the force applied times the lever arm distance?
Johnson Josh.
Torque.
Correct. Bonus 20. In what decade did the California Gold Rush officially begin?
1840.
Correct. Toss up 21. Hidden in the shadow, she ruled over a world of monsters while waiting for the destruction of the gods in Ragnarok. Named as Queen of the Dead.
Pikeville Key.
Hell.
Correct. Bonus 22. The third husband of Marilyn Monroe, what American dramatist's works include A View from the Bridge, All My Sons, and Death and the Salesman?
Arthur Miller.
Correct. Toss up 23. The method of row elimination in matrices is named after what?
Pikeville Key.
Kramer.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. The method of row elimination in matrices is named after what great mathematician?
Johnson Swathy.
Ross.
Correct. Bonus 24. If you stood on an electronic scale in a free-falling elevator, what reading would the scale give as your weight?
Bro.
Correct. Toss up 25. March 5th, 1770 and December 16th, 1773 marked two of the most historical events in the colonial period.
Johnson Kevin.
Boston Massacre and the Boston Tea Party.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. March 5th in 1770 and December 16th, 1773 marked two of the most historical events in the colonial period. In what city did these major historical...
Pikeville Lamp.
Boston.
Correct. Bonus 26. Name the sacred treasure guarded by a dragon that was the object of a perilous quest endured by Jason and the Argonauts.
The Golden Fleece.
Correct. Toss up 27. Name the American humorist who is remembered for his cartoons and essays published in the New Yorker.
Pikeville Eric.
James Thurman.
Correct. Bonus 28. On the open interval from 0 to 2 pi radians, how many times does the graph of y equal negative 4 sine 3x cross the x-axis?
Two.
Incorrect, Captain.
6.
Incorrect, 5. Toss up 29. In physics, what phenomenon occurs when light waves pass?
Johnson Josh.
Double internal reflection.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. In physics, what phenomenon occurs when light waves pass through a narrow opening and proceed to deviate from straight line travel?
Pikeville Lamp.
Diffraction.
Correct. Toss up 30. First and last name required. Her real name was Mary Ludwig Hayes. Identify this American Revolutionary hero who delivered water to soldiers on the battlefield.
Molly Pitcher.
Correct. Toss up 31. What type of chemical additives are inserted into certain foods in order to keep...
Pikeville Eric.
Emulsifier.
Correct. Bonus 32. Rudolph Giuliani, in his 2002 autobiography, Leadership, describes how he made use of certain management principles while he was mayor of what city?
New York City.
Correct. Toss up 33. Find the first degree measure of the angle between 180 and 360 degrees that has a tangent of -1.
Pikeville Key.
225 degrees.
Hesitation.
Johnson Swathy.
125 degrees.
Incorrect, 315 degrees. Toss up 34. In physics, resistivity is a characteristic of every material that obeys Ohm's law. What term is defined as the inverse of resistivity?
Johnson Josh.
Conductivity.
Correct. Bonus 35. The cable streetcar invented by Andrew Halliday was first used in what U.S. city?
San Francisco.
Correct. Toss up 36. What comic book and television hero hailed from Gotham City?
Pikeville Key.
Batman.
Correct. Bonus 37. What do we call the special stress or emphasis that is given to a poetic syllable when it is pronounced?
Accent.
Correct. Toss-up 38. The vertex angle of an isosceles triangle measures 48 degrees. Find the measure in...
Pikeville Frost. 84 degrees.
Incorrect. Repeat the question. The vertex angle of an isosceles triangle measures 48 degrees. Find the measure in degrees of each base angle of the triangle.
Johnson Cabin.
66 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 39. This early Alexandrian astronomer was the first to design a complete system that accurately predicted planetary motions. Identify the author of the first professional astronomy textbook, Almagest, in which he proposed a geocentric model of the universe.
Ptolemy.
Correct. Toss-up 40. The early 1900s saw the beginnings of modern flight.
Pikeville Eric.
North Carolina.
Correct. Bonus 41. In the classic 1939 movie, The Wizard of Oz, what five-word phrase that the Munchkins sing starts the song, "You're off to see the wizard," and answers Dorothy's question, "How do I get to the Emerald City?"
Follow the Ogre Road.
Correct. Toss-up 42. If necessary, correct the error in the following sentence. She and Bobby dance good together.
Pikeville Eric.
She to her.
Incorrect.
Johnson Swathi.
Change good for well.
Correct. Bonus 43. What is the measure in degrees of the second quadrant angle that has the same tangent as a 315-degree angle?
135 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 44. Toss-up 44. The second largest moon of the planet Neptune is...
Johnson Josh.
Triton.
Correct. Bonus 45. The 1920s saw a revival of this organization's tactics of whippings, brandings, tarrings, and destruction of property. Identify this organization founded in the 1860s by Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Ku Klux Klan.
Correct. Toss-up 46. Actor Cary Grant said he hated doing the movie version of the Joseph Kesselring comedy because of the overacting required. Name this play in which two aunts conspired to help lonely old men out of their misery by...
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 47. The senator's questionable conduct elicited a mass outcry from her supporters. Correctly spell the word elicited.
Here's the next slot.
E-L-I-C-I-T-E.
Correct. Toss-up 48. Seismic waves undergo a marked increase in velocity as it...
Johnson Cabin.
Moho.
Correct. Bonus 49. In 1972, she was selected as Sports Illustrated's first Woman of the Year. In 1973, she decisively defeated Bobby Riggs before a television audience of 37 million people. Identify this female tennis great.
Billie Jean King.
Correct. Toss-up 50. For what value of x is the function f of x equals 5x squared minus 30x plus 9 at a minimum?
Johnson Swathi.
3.
And
Shake hands.
Review of the rules, just so we're all on the same page. 2 15-minute or 50-question halves, whichever comes first. 5 seconds cost, 10 bonus. On the bounce back, captains, remember, if it bounces back to you, you must either immediately respond with the answer or with "I designate Pluto." That'd be fun, to see what happens. Pluto mighty. Everybody ready? Nice and quiet in the room, please. Let's begin. Number 1, the toss-up. Name the expressive quality of a painting or drawing that is...
Pikeville Frost. Avant-garde.
Incorrect. I'll complete. Name the expressive quality of a painting or drawing that is used to make the surface characteristics appear to be rough, smooth, hard, soft, coarse, or fine.
Pierre's Day Texture.
Correct. Bonus 2. Arabic for reading. It is said to contain the actual words of Allah as they were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. Name this sacred book of the Islamic faith.
The Quran.
Correct. Toss-up 3. Convert the base 2 numeral 1011 to its base 10 equivalent.
Pikeville Keith.
11.
Correct. Bonus 4. Although most of the small intestine is principally concerned with absorption of nutrients, the upper 25 centimeters of the small intestine is most active in the digestive process. Identify this portion of the small intestine where food first enters after it passes through the stomach. Incorrect. Captain?
Duodenum.
Correct. Toss-up 5. There was one in the 1850s on the North American continent. What is the adjective for a political system in which independent states...
Faculty.
Confederacy.
Correct. Bonus 6. In the 2001 film Moulin Rouge, actor John Leguizamo portrayed what 19th century French artist known for his paintings and posters that depicted the exciting nightlife of Paris?
Louis-Lautrec.
Correct. Toss-up 7. Hesiod's Theogony presents an account of the Greek gods.
Hercules.
Correct. Bonus 8. How many sides are in an undecagon?
11.
Correct. Toss-up 9. Identify the 10-letter adjective beginning with H that describes annual plants that are soft-stemmed or non-woody. Herbaceous. Toss-up 10. If the president vetoes a given piece of legislation...
Two-thirds.
Correct. Bonus 11. They explored the unconscious mind, often using dreamlike images and themes. What was this art movement of the 1920s and 30s, which is seen in the many works of Salvador Dali?
Surrealism.
Correct. Toss-up 12. The prefixes aqui, meaning water, cerebro...
Latin.
Correct. Bonus 13. Find the perimeter of a regular pentagon measuring 13 feet on a side.
55 feet.
Correct. Toss-up 14. Give the taxonomic name for the class of fishes that includes trout, bass,
Osteichthyes.
correct. Bonus 15. In 1987, the Supreme Court decided the case of the state of South Dakota versus what former Secretary of Transportation, wife of a presidential candidate, and new senator from North Carolina.
Right.
Incorrect, Captain?
Dole.
Correct. Toss-up 16. In the mid-1820s, English architect John Nash began remodeling what official London residence of the...
Buckingham Palace.
Correct. Bonus 17. In 1936, film legend Orson Welles directed a version of this Shakespearean play. Rather than using traditional staging, Welles set the play in Haiti and used an all-black cast. What is this Shakespearean play that is usually set in Scotland?
Macbeth.
Correct. Toss-up 18. A major arc AB on a circle measures 215 degrees. What is the measure in degrees of minor arc?
145 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 19. Arthropods in the classes Crustacea, Colopoda, Diplodopoda, and Insecta all share a common feature. Identify this characteristic lower jaw which effectively crushes food.
Animal.
Correct. Toss-up 20. In psychology, what is the basic method of collecting data through the use of interviews?
Survey.
Correct. Bonus 21. This Russian-born choreographer came to America where he founded the School of American Ballet in 1934. In 1948, he was made artistic director of the New York City Ballet. Name this great choreographer, the creator of the works Apollo and Serenade.
There's that Eric Balanchine.
Correct. Toss-up 22. In what 16th century literary work would you find the following advice to rulers? Correct. Bonus 23. Find the hypotenuse of a right triangle with legs measuring 3 feet and 6 feet.
305 feet.
Correct. Toss-up 24. Introns are intervening sequences within a gene.
Exons.
Correct. Bonus 25. In economics, what is the term for the ability to turn an asset into cash quickly?
Liquidation.
Correct. Toss-up 26. John Williams has composed scores for many movies and TV shows and has won Academy Awards for Best Original Score. Name 2 of the movies.
Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
Incorrect. I'll complete. John Williams has composed scores for many movies and TV shows and has won Academy Awards for Best Original Score. Name 2 of the movies for which he has won.
Sierra State. Star Wars and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Incorrect. Jaws, Star Wars, E.T., Schindler's List, or Fiddler on the Roof. Toss-up 27. The end of the 18th century featured the development of a new type of play in which the emphasis was placed on spectacle and sensation with little regard for convincing character portrayal.
Aquafairs.
Melodrama.
Correct. Bonus 28. Find the slope of the line containing the points 3,7 and 6,13.
Okay. 2.
Correct. Toss-up 29. Cytokinesis occurs during which phase of...
Database.
Incorrect. Cytokinesis occurs during which phase of mitosis?
Sierra State. Metaphase.
Incorrect. Telophase. Toss-up 30. Many northerners have moved south to this city, which hosted the 1996...
Sierra State. Atlanta, Georgia.
Correct. Bonus 31. Its frame is a shallow box about 2 feet long and is played when the 5 melody strings are plucked with a metal pick. What musical instrument native to Austria and southern Germany is a 19th century relative of the Appalachian dulcimer?
Zither.
Correct. Toss-up 32. Old Matthew Mall is accused of witchcraft and hanged for his crimes. Before he dies, however, he places a curse on his accuser, Colonel Pynchon.
Aquafairs.
House of the Seven Gables.
Correct. Bonus 33. Find the equation in slope-intercept form of the line with slope 3 that passes through the point -4, 5.
It's negative. It's negative 4, negative 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, dear. I'm sorry.
Negative
I'm sorry. Hang on, sir.
Y equals 3x plus 10.
Incorrect, Captain.
Y equals 3x plus 19.
Incorrect. Y equals 3x plus 7.
Time out.
Time out. The zones of air, land, and water at the surface of the Earth occupied by living things are...
Aquafeet.
Hesitation?
Sierra State. Aquafairs.
Correct. Bonus 35. Name either of the 2 landlocked countries in South America.
Bolivia.
Correct. Toss-up 36. In AD 64, as he watched the common...
Sierra State. Nero.
Incorrect. I'll complete. In AD 64, as he watched the common people's housing districts go up in flame, Roman Emperor Nero was not playing a fiddle, as the saying goes, but probably what relative with 7 strings?
Aquafairs.
Neil.
Incorrect. The lyre. Toss-up 37. An English author and artist of the late 18th and early...
Aquafairs.
William Blake.
Correct. Bonus 38. If f of x equals x cubed and g of x equals the cube root of x, find g of f of -3.
-3.
Correct. Toss-up 39. This process can be demonstrated by wiring a 9-volt battery to a graphite pencil and inserting the pencil tip into a salt solution.
Sierra State. Electromagnetism.
Incorrect. I'll complete. This process can be demonstrated by wiring a 9-volt battery to a graphite pencil and inserting the pencil tip into a salt solution. What is the process of driving a chemical reaction in a non-spontaneous direction by using an electric current?
Aquafeet.
Electric halization.
Incorrect. Electrolysis. Toss-up 40. Plautus, Terence, Lucretius, and Cicero were important cultural figures in the history of which...
Aquafairs.
Roman.
Correct. Bonus 41. Come to me, bend to me, and Almost Like Being in Love are 2 songs from a Lerner and Loewe musical set in an enchanted village that appears in Scotland only 1 day every 100 years. Name this musical.
Brigadoon.
Correct. Toss-up 42. George Gordon was the real name of what?
Aquafairs.
Lord Byron.
Correct. Bonus 43. Consider the exponential function y equals 8 times 0.74 to the x power. What is the percent decay of this function? Incorrect, Captain?
36%.
Incorrect, 26%. Toss-up 44. This phenomenon occurs in sulfur dioxide, ozone, the nitrate anion, and benzene. In what chemical occurrence are multiple Lewis structures necessary to portray accurately a chemical species?
Aquafairs. Indicator.
Incorrect.
Sierra State. Oscillating chemical compound.
Incorrect. Resonance. Toss-up 45. What Kentucky city would you be visiting if you went to the Slugger Museum?
Sierra State.
Louisville.
Correct. Bonus 46. Played as dance music at many honky-tonks, it is a form of instrumental blues that uses melodic variations over a constantly repeated bass figure. Name this style of music associated with the bugle boy of Company B.
Swing.
Incorrect, Captain?
Boogie woogie.
Toss-up 47. Strongly influenced by the rise of modern science, this 18th century intellectual movement.
Powerful air. Enlightenment.
Correct. Bonus 48. Reduce and simplify the square root of 12 plus the square root of 48. Correct. Toss-up 49. Oxaloacetic and malic acid are examples of intermediates in an important biological cycle that is crucial to oxidation.
Here, snake. Red cycle.
Correct. Bonus 50. He is famous for his views of a heliocentric universe. Identify this Polish astronomer famous for the publication of On the Revolution of the Heavenly Spheres.
Copernicus.
A specter is haunting Europe. So begins
Oswald Key.
hesitation. A specter is haunting Europe. So begins what 1848 work by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels.
Dear Ball. How many things they still?
Correct. Bonus 2. In this story, a couple sinks into poverty for many years in order to replace a priceless heirloom that they had borrowed from a friend and lost. Years later, they find out that the heirloom was in fact a cheap imitation. Give the title of this ironic story by Guy du Montauban.
The necklace.
Correct. Official time. So, according to the empirical rule of normal distribution, what percentage of data is within one standard deviation of the mean?
Year state. 1%.
Incorrect.
Partial length.
33.5%.
Incorrect. 68%. Toss-up 4. Because of this phenomenon, salts that contain the conjugate acids of weak bases produce acidic aqueous solutions, and the opposite produces basic aqueous solutions. Identify this phenomenon, which literally means splitting of water.
Aqua Pier.
Incorrect.
Pier state. Hydrolysis.
Correct. Bonus 5. In 1869, this waterway opened. Identify this body of water that connects the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea.
Suez Canal.
Correct. Toss-up 6. Dora, Kush, and Nubia are cultures in the history of which continent?
Pier state. Africa.
Correct. Bonus 7. A classic memoir of the sea, it was based on its author's voyage around Cape Horn. What 1840 classic by Richard Henry Dana is thought to have inspired Melville's Moby Dick?
I didn't make math 2 years before the math.
Correct. Toss-up 8. Find the 16th term of an arithmetic sequence with first term 2 and common difference 3.
Pier state.
-1.
Incorrect.
Aqua Key.
35.
Incorrect. 47. Toss-up 9. It is calculated by dividing the natural log of 2 by the radioactive decay constant. What is this quantity?
Aqua Key.
Half-life.
Correct. Bonus 10. He is the leader of England's Labour Party. Identify the current Prime Minister of England.
Anyway.
Correct. Toss-up 11. In Hinduism, it involves a release from physical desire.
Aqua Pier.
Moksha.
Incorrect.
Pier's Mad. Nirvana.
Correct. Bonus 12. First published in 1529, what hymn by Martin Luther has been called the Battle Hymn of the Reformation?
$95 pieces.
Incorrect. Captain?
I did think like that. 94 pieces on the
Correct. Toss-up 13. What conic section is described by the equation 5x squared plus xy equals 6?
Aqua Key.
Correct. Bonus 14. The total free energy of a system is denoted by a quantity named after a 19th century Yale professor who made significant contributions to the field of thermodynamics. Identify this scientist whose namesake thermodynamic variable is symbolized by the letter G.
Gibbs.
Correct. Toss-up 15. The 1947 Constitution of Japan allowed it to choose a prime minister.
Pier state.
Douglas MacArthur.
Incorrect. I'll complete. The 1947 Constitution of Japan allowed it to choose a prime minister who then formed a cabinet. Identify this body, the
Aqua Pier.
Diet.
correct. Bonus 15. 3 answers required. What three members of NATO in February 2002 threatened to fracture the alliance over the U.S. strategy in Iraq?
I didn't think Lance.
China, France, Russia.
Incorrect. Captain?
China, France, Germany.
Incorrect. France, Germany, and Russia. Toss-up 17. Of what was poet Marianne Moore speaking when she wrote the line, I too dislike it. There are things.
Pierre Smack, poetry.
Correct. Bonus 18. This question requires a multi-part answer. Compared to the graph of y equals 1 over x, which two ways is the graph of y equals -4 plus 1 over the quantity x plus 3 shifted?
Down and left.
Correct. Toss-up 19. It is always necessary to include this quantity when drawing a three-body diagram.
Pierre State, an old horse.
Incorrect. I'll complete. It is always necessary to include this quantity when drawing a three-body diagram of a rope pulling on an object. Identify this scalar quantity, defined as the magnitude of the force that the rope exerts on whatever is attached to it.
Faculty, kitchen.
Correct. Bonus 20. In the spring of 2002, Lisa Left Eye Lopes died in a car crash in Latin America. Of what Grammy-winning group known for such songs as Waterfalls was she a member?
DLC.
Correct. Toss-up 21. Each day this god rode across the sky in a chariot pulled by 4 fiery horses.
Pierre Small. Idiot.
Correct. Bonus 22. Set in the small town of Grover Springs, which play focuses on the... Correct. Toss-up 23. In set theory, what is the 12-letter term for all elements contained in both of two given sets?
Pierre State, compilation.
Incorrect.
Faculty, intersection.
Correct. Bonus 24. Although momentum is conserved in this type of collision, total kinetic energy does not remain constant. Identify this type of collision exemplified when two vehicles crash and become entangled.
Inelastic.
Correct. Toss-up 25. Its original purpose was to serve as a debtor's colony. Identify...
Aqualite.
Jordan.
Correct. Bonus 26. This king of Corinth offended the god Hades because he did not desire a proper funeral. Identify this Greek character who was forced to spend eternity rolling a huge boulder up a hill in the underworld, only to have it roll to the bottom each time he neared the top. Correct.
Time out.
27, time out. 1912 until 1925, this city seemed on its way to becoming the literary capital.
Aqua Fall.
New York.
Incorrect. I'll complete. From 1912 until 1925, this city seemed on its way to becoming the literary capital of the United States. What is this Midwestern city associated with such literary greats as Theodore Dreiser, Sherwood Anderson, and Edgar Lee Masters?
Pierre Smash, Chicago.
Correct. Bonus 28. Expressed as a single basic trigonometric function, tangent theta divided by sine theta.
Cosine theta.
Incorrect, Captain.
Cotangent.
Incorrect, secant theta. Toss-up 29. The constructive type occurs when two waves...
Aqua Fall.
Interference.
Correct, bonus 30. He led the Potawatomi Massacre. Identify this man who led the raid on Harper's Ferry in 1859.
John Brown.
Correct. Toss-up 31. This question requires a multiple answer. Name any two of the three diseases that a DTP is...
Aqua Fall.
Pertussis diphtheria.
Correct. Bonus 32. In 1962, environmentalist author Rachel Carson published Silent Spring, a critical look at the harmful effects of which chemical insecticide?
DDT.
Correct. Toss-up 33. Find a degree measure of the angle between 180 and 360 degrees that has a cosine of negative...
Pierre State. 270 degrees.
Incorrect. I'll complete. Find the degree measure of the angle between 180 and 360 degrees that has a cosine of negative radical 2 over 2.
Aqua Theater.
225 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 34. If this object's turns are closely spaced, this configuration can produce a uniform magnetic field within a small volume of its interior region. What term refers to this long wire wound in the form of a helix?
That's Tropic oil.
Incorrect, Captain? Incorrect, the solemnity. Toss up 35. In 1879, he invented the incandescent bulb.
Powerful salt. Edison.
Correct. Bonus 36. Widely acknowledged as the master of the medical thriller, what graduate of Columbia University's medical school has produced such popular novels as Outbreak, Fever, and Chromosome 6?
Cook.
Correct. Toss up 37. This kind of writing makes use of such devices as characters speaking to themselves, free...
Here, monologue.
Incorrect, I'll complete. This kind of writing makes use of such devices as characters speaking to themselves, free association, and lists of words to present the thoughts of a person as they occur. Give the three-word phrase for this type.
Powerful here. Stream of consciousness.
Correct. Bonus 38. The obtuse angles of a parallelogram are twice as large as the acute angles. Find the measure in degrees of either obtuse angle.
120 degrees.
Correct. Toss up 39. There is a legend that this scientist first discovered that acceleration due to gravity...
Here, state.
Incorrect, I'll complete. There is a legend that this scientist first discovered that acceleration due to gravity is a constant by dropping two different waves simultaneously.
Powerful salt.
Galileo.
Correct. Bonus 40. It was patterned after Toynbee Hall in London. Identified this settlement house founded in 1889 by Jane Addams.
All up.
Correct. Toss up 41. Juan Gallardo becomes a bullfighter in Spain against his...
Powerful here. The sun ultraviolet.
Incorrect, I'll complete. Juan Gallardo becomes a bullfighter in Spain against his mother's wishes and achieves national prominence. He marries his childhood sweetheart, Carmen, but meets and also falls in love with the Marquis's daughter in what 1922 classic movie starring Rudolph Valentino?
Here, state. Before the dawn.
Incorrect. Blood and sand. Toss up 42. How many words should be capitalized in the following sentence? When Sir Francis Drake, one of Queen Elizabeth's most famous sea dogs, circumnavigated planet Earth, he was the first Englishman to ever do so.
Powerful here. 7.
Incorrect.
Here, state. 8.
Correct. Bonus 43. The tangent of what third quadrant angle is equal to the tangent of 19 degrees?
Under 99 degrees.
Correct. Toss up 44. The atmosphere of what planet, by nature of clouds that contain a...
Powerful here. Venus.
Correct. Bonus 45. On December 24th, 1943, he was named Supreme Commander of the European Invasion Forces. Identify this American commander whose popularity from World War II helped him to be elected as the 34th President of the United States.
Eisenhower.
Correct. Toss up 46. Jack Worthington and Algernon Moncrief bend the truth a bit to add excitement to their lives. Their deceptions cross paths and complicate...
Fear, state, exaggeration.
Incorrect. I'll complete. Jack Worthing and Algernon Moncrief bend the truth a bit to add excitement to their lives. Their deceptions cross paths and complicate their romantic pursuits, in which comedic play, the last written by Oscar Wilde?
Powerful salt. The importance of being earnest.
Correct. Bonus 47. Give the four-letter synonym for the mysterious Himalayan creature also referred to as the abominable snowman.
Yeti.
Correct. Toss up 48. Find the limit as x approaches 3 of 5 over the quantity x minus 3.
Here, state. Undefined.
Correct. Bonus 49. Identify the two-word term for the demarcation that separates the drainage basins of the Mississippi and Colorado rivers, a line that runs from southern New Mexico northward along the peak of the Rocky Mountains into Canada.
Great divide.
Incorrect, Captain?
Continental divide.
Correct. Toss up 50. Identify the only man to become president who was never elected either...
Powerful salt.
Hesitation. Identify the only man to become president who was never elected either president or elected vice president.
Here, state. Ford.
Correct? Someone wherever he wished to go.
Flying carpet.
Judge?
Incorrect.
Incorrect, Captain?
Magic carpet.
Correct. Toss up 3. Convert the base 10 number 59 into base 3.
Pablo Key.
2, 1, 2.
Incorrect.
Johnson Swathi.
612 base 2.
Incorrect. 2012. Toss up 4. This division of the autonomic nervous system is involved primarily in the restorative activities.
Johnson Josh. Parasympathetic.
Correct. Bonus 5. This term refers to a lessening of tensions during the Cold War that occurred in the early 1970s. Identify this term popularly associated with Brezhnev and Nixon.
Dayton.
Correct. Toss up 6. Born on the island of Crete, he spent most of his...
Papa Lance.
Guernica.
Correct. Bonus 7. Herodotus earned the nickname Father of History with his account of what series of wars fought between the Greeks and the kings Darius and Xerxes.
Persian Wars.
Correct. Toss up 8. Find the measure of an exterior angle of a 20-sided polygon.
Pablo Faraz. 18 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 9. Collectively, they are referred to as the calyx. What are these green, leaf-like outermost parts of an angiosperm flower that enclose and protect the developing flower bud?
Sequels.
Correct. Was that a bonus? Yes. Toss up 10. He was known for often crossing party lines in congressional votes, but in 2002 he made
Papa
headlines.
Lance.
Checker.
Incorrect. I'll complete. He was known for often crossing party lines in congressional votes, but in 2002 he made headlines for being expelled from the House of Representatives by his peers. Identify this Ohio Democrat who was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison.
Johnson Kevin. Trafficant.
Correct. Bonus 11. Characterized by flowing lines and elaborate decoration, name the style of late Baroque art and architecture that was highly popular in Europe during the 18th century.
Rococo.
Correct. Toss up 12. Old Norse literature abounds with many epic tales that recount events in the lives.
Papa Larry.
Sagas.
Correct. Bonus 13. Find the area of a trapezoid with bases of 6 centimeters and 12 centimeters and a height of 5 centimeters.
45 centimeters squared.
Correct. Toss up 14. Epithelial tissue, connective tissue, and muscle tissue are
Johnson Josh.
Nervous tissue.
correct. Bonus 15. Collectively, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution are known by what term?
Bill of Rights.
Correct. Toss up 16. In general, this term is applied to any of the elevated strongholds in ancient...
Papa Larry.
Acropolis.
Correct. Bonus 17. Bacon's Of Marriage and Single Life is an example of what type of brief nonfiction work that offers an opinion on a single subject.
Essay.
Correct. Toss up 18. A circle is divided into exactly 4 arcs. 3 of the arcs measure 89 degrees, 61 degrees, and 70 degrees. What is the measure?
Pablo Faraz. 140 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 19. The bowl-shaped medusa is one of the 2 basic body forms of members of the phylum Cnidaria. What is the other body form shaped like a vase and exemplified by the hydra?
False.
Correct. Toss up 20. Its characteristics are a division of labor, hierarchy of authority, and impersonality. What type of large hierarchical organ?
Papa Lance.
Bureaucracy.
Correct. Bonus 21. It comes between the exposition and the recapitulation in the classic sonata form. Name this middle section of a sonata during which the themes are expanded, modified, combined, or broken up.
Development.
Correct. Toss up 22. During which historical time period were the following works of literature written? Boccaccio's Decameron.
Papa Lance.
The Renaissance.
Correct. Bonus 23. Find the area of an isosceles right triangle with a leg of length 12 centimeters.
Designate cross.
72 radical 2 centimeters squared.
Incorrect. Captain?
Designate swap.
17 centimeters.
Correct. Time. Time out. In protein synthesis, 3 nucleotides in sequence specify each amino.
Johnson Josh. Amino acid.
Incorrect. I'll complete. In protein synthesis, 3 nucleotides in sequence specify each amino acid. What term refers to these nucleotide triplets?
Pablo Faraz.
Incorrect. Codons. Toss up 25. His doctrine helped economists earn the name of the dismal, helped economics earn the name the dismal science. Identify this man who stated.
Johnson Kevin.
Nothing.
Correct. Bonus 26. Sleeping Beauty, Swan Lake, and the Nutcracker are the only 3 ballets composed by what 19th century Russian master?
Chekhov.
Correct. Cross at 27. More common in poetry from earlier centuries than today, what literary device changes the normal word?
Malaria.
Inversion.
Correct. Bonus 28. Find the midpoint, of the 2 points with the coordinates 3, 4i and 9, negative 8i.
6, negative 2i.
Correct. Toss up 29. At the end of telophase 2 of meiosis in human beings, how many chromosomes are present in...
Johnson Josh. 3.
Correct. Bonus 30. From 1763 to 1767, 2 British astronomers worked to settle a land dispute between the Calvert and Penn families. They resolved it by drawing a line at 39 degrees 43 minutes north latitude between the colonies of Maryland and Pennsylvania, which is known by what name?
Mason-Dixon.
Correct. Toss up 31. Mozart wrote several pieces, especially for string quartets, which were popular during the classical period. What 4 instruments?
Johnson Kevin. 2 violins, a viola, and cello.
Correct. Bonus 32. Named for an honored place in American homes, what 2-word group of 19th century New England writers included Whittier, Lowell, Holmes, and Longfellow?
Fireside Children.
Correct. Toss up 33. Find the equation in slope-intercept form of the line with slope negative 2 that passes through the point 6, 10.
Johnson Swathi.
Y equals negative 2x minus 22.
Incorrect.
Papa Keith.
Y was negative 2x plus 22.
Correct. Bonus 34. This division of oceanic life includes sessile animals such as sponges, sea anemones, and clams, as well as a variety of fungi and bacteria. Identify the term that refers to organisms that live on the bottom of the ocean.
Isn't cross?
Athletic.
Incorrect. Captain?
Benthic.
Correct. Toss up 35. It is the longest river in Asia.
Johnson Josh.
Yangtze.
Correct. Bonus 36. In the Disney movie Lady and the Tramp, the classic scene with the 2 lovers eating spaghetti includes the restaurant owner singing the song Bella Notte. While he does, he plays a musical instrument that's a small octagonal relative of the accordion. What is this instrument called?
Concertina.
Correct. Toss up 37. Although they resemble humans, they are more beast than man. Give the name for this race of filthy, brutish...
Hot Polaric.
Lotus Eaters.
Incorrect. I'll complete. Although they resemble humans, they are more beast than man. Give the name for this race of filthy, brutish people whom Gulliver encounters on his 4th voyage.
Johnson Swathi.
Incorrect. The Yahoos. Toss up 39. Given the function f of x equals 3x minus 1 and g of x equals 2x plus 5, find g of f of 3.
Johnson Kevin.
23.
Incorrect.
Cottonwood Faraz. 21.
Correct. Bonus 39. Identify the general term for a chemical substance that, while having no effect on the equilibrium composition of the reaction mixture, increases the rate of a chemical reaction without being consumed itself.
Catalyst.
Correct. Toss up 40. Zeno was an ardent proponent of this school.
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 41. According to the song for Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical The King and I, whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and do what? So no one will suspect I'm afraid.
Sing.
Incorrect, Captain?
Smile.
Whistle a happy tune. Toss up 42. After 1880, the genre of realism began to be replaced by what?
Hot Polaric.
Naturalism.
Correct. Bonus 43. Consider the exponential function y equals 6 times 1.24 to the x power. What is the percent growth of this function?
24%.
Correct. Toss up 44. Of the 4 halogens with stable isotopes, which element has the largest atomic radius?
Johnson Josh. Fluorine.
Incorrect.
Pikeville Bras or
Incorrect. Iodine. Toss-up 45. Although Protestantism was declared illegal in this country in 1534,
Pikeville Lamp.
correct. Bonus 46. Originating in Cuba, name the Latin American dance in which the participants form a winding line, take 3 steps forwards or backwards, and then kick.
Conga.
Correct. Toss-up 47. During the Enlightenment, the French philosopher Denis Diderot produced.
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 48. Multiply the imaginary numbers 2i times 5i.
-10.
Correct. Toss-up 49. Glucose is one of the 2 monosaccharides.
Pikeville
Fructose and sucrose.
Incorrect. Glucose is one of the 2 monosaccharides that compose the disaccharide lactose. What is the other?
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 50. She was born in and was married in Maysville. She was the singer of such songs as "Come On to My House" and "Hey There." Identify this Kentucky legend who passed away at the age of 74 in June 2002.
Lynn.
Incorrect. Captain.
Disney Lance, Rosemary Clooney.
Correct. That's the half. 3 minutes. The paper agrees with the machine. Okay. The score at the half is Pikeville 24, Johnson 21. There's a multiple answer. According to many early Greek philosophers, what were the 4 basic?
Johnson Swathi.
Water, fire, earth, and air.
Correct. Bonus 2. Dmitri, Ivan, Aloysia, and Shmerdikov are the title characters in what author's 1880 novel, The Brothers Karamazov?
Dostoevsky.
Correct. Toss-up 3. A 10-sided die has the first 10 letters of the English language alphabet on its faces. If the die is rolled, what is the probability that a vowel is rolled?
Johnson Kevin. 1/5.
Incorrect.
Pikeville Keith.
3/10.
Correct. Bonus 4. Cellular ones belong to the division of Crassiomycota, and the acellular ones belong to the division Myxomycota. What are these curious organisms usually classified with the protists because of their similarity to amoebas?
Paramecium.
Incorrect, Captain.
Disney Josh. Euglena.
Incorrect. Slime molds. Toss-up 5. His novels characterized European nations as moral barbarians in their colonization of Africa. Identify this author of The Heart of Darkness.
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 6. A third eye called Dua and a shaman named Yelu Chutsai are part of what ancient Asian culture known for its military conquests under Genghis Khan?
Mongols.
Correct. Toss-up 7. Give the 4 words that complete the following quote spoken by Atticus Finch in a classic novel by Nell Harper Lee. You can shoot all the blue jays you want.
Johnson Josh. Kill a Mockingbird.
Correct. Bonus 8. Find the 12th term of the sequence that begins 3, 6, 9, and so on.
36.
Correct. Toss-up 9. It can be induced by bombarding a heavy nucleus with neutrons.
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 10. Guernica, a painting by Pablo Picasso, depicted the horrors of a civil war in what country?
Spain.
Correct.
Time out.
Time out. An international laymen's association. It was organized in the state of Wisconsin in 1890.
Pikeville Lance.
Republican Party.
Incorrect. I'll complete. An international laymen's association. It was organized in the state of Wisconsin in 1899. Give the name of this religious group known for distributing Bibles in hospitals, prisons, and hotels.
Johnson Josh. Gideon.
Correct. Bonus 12. All the action in this novel takes place on a single day, June 16, 1904. The book is noted for its allusions to theology, mythology, and history, and for its innovative use of interior monologues and the stream of consciousness technique. Name this epic novel by James Joyce.
Ulysses.
Correct. Toss-up 13. This question requires a multi-part answer. Find the coordinates for the y-intercepts of the ellipse with equations x squared over 16 plus...
Johnson Swathi.
0, 3.
Incorrect. I'll complete. This question requires a multi-part answer. Find the coordinates for the y-intercepts of the ellipse with equation x squared over 16 plus y squared over 49 equals 1.
Okay.
0, 7, 0, -7.
Correct. Bonus 14. It is equal to 1 kilogram over the quantity meters times seconds squared, and 1.01 times 10 to the fifth of this unit equals 1 atmosphere. Identify the SI unit of pressure.
Pascal.
Correct. Toss-up 15. It was a major topic in the presidential election of 1992. For what do the initials NAFTA stand?
Popular.
North American Free Trade Association.
Incorrect.
Johnson Josh. North American Free Trade Agreement.
Correct. Bonus 16. According to an English ballad, he was a clerk in King Harold's Hall, named the saint who, upon being stoned to death, became the first Christian martyr.
Stephen.
Correct. Toss-up 17. Known for his poetry, plays, and fiction, he emerged from the Harlem Renaissance as the most
Popular.
Point you.
Correct. Bonus 18. This question requires a multi-part answer. Compared to the graph of y equals 1 over x, which two ways is the graph of y equals 2 plus 1 over the quantity x minus 4 shifted?
Up and to the right.
Correct. Toss-up 19. In physics, it is the second derivative of position.
Acceleration.
Correct. Bonus 20. Campbell's soup cans were the signature of which pop artist of the 1960s?
Warhol.
Correct. Toss-up 21. Because he warred against Zeus, the king of the gods, this titan was sentenced.
Popular.
Atlas.
Correct. Bonus 22. Name the 20th century American dramatist who chronicled one day in the life of the dysfunctional Tyrone family in his 1956 play, Long Day's Journey into Night.
Eugene O'Neill.
Correct. Toss-up 23. In set theory, what is the 10-letter name for the values in the universal set that are not contained in a given set? An apostrophe called a prime is used in the notation.
Popular.
Union.
Incorrect.
Johnson Kevin. Disjunction.
Incorrect. Complement. Toss-up 24. According to the second law of thermodynamics, the efficiency of any heat engine must be less than what number?
Johnson Josh. 1.
Correct. Bonus 25. After the French and Indian War, England passed several measures in order to force the American colonies to pay their share of the cost associated with the war. Identify by name and number the King of England who attempted to levy taxes against the colonies upon the conclusion of the French and Indian War.
George III.
Correct. Toss-up 26. The 1997 films Austin Powers and My Best...
Johnson Willie.
Mike Myers.
Incorrect. I'll complete. The 1997 films Austin Powers and My Best Friend's Wedding made use of music written by what popular...
Popular.
Burt Bacharach.
Correct. Bonus 27. All the King's Men is a fictional study of a Southern politician whose political career ends with an assassin's bullet. What author wrote this Pulitzer Prize-winning novel?
Robert Tim Warren.
Correct. Toss-up 28. Expressed as a single basic trigonometric function, cosine theta times sine theta times cosecant theta.
Johnson Swampy.
Correct. Bonus 29. Mathematically, it can be expressed by the equation observed frequency equals actual frequency multiplied by a ratio of velocity. What physical phenomenon is the basis for a police radar gun?
Doppler effect.
Correct. Toss-up 30. California was admitted as a free state.
Popular.
Compromise of 1850.
Correct. Bonus 31. Suppose that a 10% decrease in the price of CDs stimulated a 20% increase in the quantity of CDs demanded. What would the price elasticity of demand be for CDs in this scenario?
2.
Correct. Toss-up 32. His memoirs, published as My Experiences in the World War, won him...
Popular.
Hershey.
Correct. Bonus 33. Convert 5 pi over 3 radians to degree measure.
300 degrees.
Correct. Toss-up 34. How much power is dissipated by a resistor when 0.5 amperes of current flow through the resistor at a voltage drop of 75 volts?
Johnson Josh, 32.5 amps.
Incorrect.
Pablo Keith,
37.5 amps.
Incorrect. 37.5 watts. Toss up 35. In 1862, Congress aimed anti-polygamy measures toward men.
Pablo Eric,
Mormon.
Correct. Bonus 36. This 20th century author is famous for his use of magical realism. Identify this Columbian Nobel Prize winner who wrote 100 Years of Solitude.
But isn't it Eric Marquez?
Correct. Time. Time out. Central. 37 is a toss-up. This American philosophy was based on the belief that the most fundamental truths about life and death could be reached only by going.
Pablo Lance,
Correct. Bonus 38. In angle measure, how many minutes are in in 1/3 of a degree?
20.
Correct. Thought of 39. In 1888, this German physicist was the first to generate and detect electromagnetic waves in a laboratory setting. Identify this scientist and professor who is more renowned as the eponym of the unit of frequency.
Johnson Swathi,
Correct. Bonus 40. In 1954, it was closed after 62 years of operation in which 20 million immigrants were processed. Identify this New York location that became a receiving station for immigrants in 1892.
Ellis Island.
Correct. Toss up 41. In what 1951 comedy classic movie did Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, after witnessing a gangland massacre, dress up in drag to join?
Johnson Kevin, Something Like It Hot.
Correct. Bonus 42. How many commas should be used in the following sentence? Jenny and Paula, friends since childhood, vividly remember watching Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon on July 20, 1969.
3.
Correct. Toss up 43. Express as a single trigonometric function, sine 51 degrees, cosine 18 degrees, minus sine 18 degrees, cosine 51 degrees.
Johnson Swathi,
Sine 33 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 44. With a diameter of 5,268 kilometers, it's actually bigger than the planet Mercury. Name this largest moon of Jupiter.
his name Josh, Ganymede.
Correct. Toss up 45. May 8, 1945 is the day associated with the United States.
Johnson Josh, B.E. Day.
Incorrect. I'll complete. May 8, 1945 is the day associated with the United States victory on what continent in World War II?
Pablo Lance,
Sure.
Correct. Bonus 46. On November 25th, 2002, this play about 8 people stranded by a snowstorm in an English manor, one of whom is a homicidal maniac, celebrated 50 years of continual production in London's West End. Name this Agatha Christie classic.
The Mousetrap.
Correct. Toss up 47. A key element in Gothic literature is the grotesque character, a character who has become bizarre because of some obsession. Correctly spelled.
Pablo Keith,
G-R-O-T-E-S-Q-U-E.
Correct. Bonus 48. Find the derivative with respect to x of the expression, the sign of the quantity e to the x power.
E to the x times cosine E to the x.
Correct. Toss up 49. Identify the primary mineral that is present in stalactites and...
Pablo Keith,
Calcite.
Correct. Bonus 50. What black leaders Rainbow Coalition has registered thousands of new voters in the South and in the inner cities?
Jesse Jackson.
Correct.
nice.
Quiet in the room. Toss up 1. Also called shade or tone. What term refers?
Pablo Eric,
Value.
Correct. Bonus 2. Taken from a work by Jonathan Swift, what adjective has come to denote a person or object that is unusually small?
Elocution.
Correct. Toss up 3. Change the base 3 number, 121, to its base 10 equivalent.
Pablo Keith,
16.
Correct. Bonus 4. Although this underground fungal structure participates in sexual reproduction, its more obvious function is to anchor the fungus and to absorb nutrients. Identify this root-like structure.
Meristem?
Incorrect, Captain.
His name's John.
Incorrect. Rhizoid. Toss-up 5. This question requires a multiple answer. In 1979, President Jimmy Carter brought...
Begin Sadat.
Incorrect. I'll complete. The question requires a multiple answer. In 1979, President Jimmy Carter brought the leaders of these two nations to Camp David to sign a peace treaty that he hoped would end the Middle Eastern conflicts. Identify these two nations whose leaders signed the peace treaty.
Dr. Josh, Israel and Egypt.
Correct. Bonus 6. This Italian painter was the first artist to abandon Byzantine forms and begin to depict more lifelike figures. Name this leading 13th and 14th century artist known for his cycle of frescoes in the Arena Chapel of Padua.
Giotto.
Correct. Toss-up 7. An explanation of the founding of the Roman civilization by...
The Aeneid.
Incorrect. I'll complete. An explanation of the founding of the Roman civilization by a brave Trojan hero is found in the Aeneid. This work was the epic masterpiece of what Roman...
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 8. Calculate the complement of the supplement of a 130-degree angle.
40 degrees.
Correct. Toss-up 9. What biological term refers to the location on the stem of a plant at...
Johnson Josh. Abscission layer.
Incorrect. I'll complete. What biological term refers to the location on the stem of a plant at which branches and leaves are joined to the stem?
Node.
Correct. Bonus 10. He made his name as a consumer advocate in the 1960s. Identify this man who ran for president as a member of the Green Party in 2000.
Ralph Nader.
Correct. Toss-up 11. According to the stereotype, artists and intellectuals live in material poverty because...
Bohemian.
Correct. Bonus 12. Beowulf and the Odyssey are examples of what type of long narrative poems that celebrate a hero and his deeds?
Epics.
Correct. Toss-up 13. A regular nonagon has a perimeter of 216 inches. How long is each side of the nonagon?
Pablo Faraz. 22 inches.
Incorrect.
Johnson Swathi.
24 inches.
Correct. Bonus 14. Although most species of amphibians skip this general stage of growth by laying eggs on land, frogs lay eggs that hatch into gilled tadpoles. What is the scientific term for this immature stage of vertebrate development?
Nymph.
Incorrect, Captain.
Larva.
Correct. Toss-up 15. Which article of the Constitution concerns the full faith and...
Johnson Josh.
Fourth.
Oh, correct. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bonus 16. What European capital city is home to the world-famous art museum known as the Prado?
Madrid.
Correct. Toss-up 17. Written while its author was in prison, it presents...
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 18. A 60-degree arc of a circle measures 17 pi feet. What is the circumference of the circle?
102 pi feet.
Correct. Toss-up 19. In insects, these structures collect water and nitrogenous waste from the hemocoel and empty them into the gut.
Johnson Josh. Amphibian tubes.
Correct. Bonus 20. Generally, what term identifies the unfair treatment of people based on some social characteristics such as race or sex?
Discrimination.
Correct. Toss-up 21. If a certain piece of music is written in 3/4 time, what is the maximum number of 16th notes?
Pablo Faraz.
Correct. Bonus 22. This Baghdad merchant landed on the back of a giant whale and managed to gather great riches. Name this character whose 7 voyages are told in the 1001 Nights.
Sinbad.
Correct. Toss-up 23. Calculate the hypotenuse of a right triangle with legs measuring 7 feet and 1 foot.
Johnson Swathi.
5 out of 2 feet.
Correct. Bonus 24. What 12-letter term refers to the genotype in which 2 alleles for the trait are different from each other?
Heterozygous.
Correct. Toss-up 25. What is the index or ratio of a composite of the prices of a number of important raw?
Johnson Kevin.
Consumer Price Index.
Incorrect. I'll complete. What is the index or ratio of a composite of the prices of a number of important raw materials relative to the composite of the prices of those raw materials in a base year?
Pablo Eric.
Gross national product.
Incorrect. The producer price index. Toss-up 26. Born near Prague, he became director of the National Conservatory in New York from 1892 to 1895, during which time he composed works based on American folk music. Name this composer of the New World Symphony.
Pablo Feroz.
Correct. Bonus 27. In 1638, the first printing press in America was set up here. This city also served as home to such famous writers as James Russell Lowell, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and Oliver Wendell Holmes. Identify this city across the Charles River from Boston, where in 1636 the first college in America was founded.
Cambridge.
Correct. Toss-up 28. Find the magnitude of the vector 3 minus 4i.
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 29. What term refers to the single membrane that surrounds a plant cell vacuole?
Lipid bilayer.
Incorrect, Captain?
Cytoplasm.
Incorrect. Tonoplast. Toss-up 30. What Kentucky county is the birthplace of the former Miss America, Heather French?
Johnson Kevin.
Lee County.
Incorrect. I'll complete. What Kentucky county is the birthplace of the former Miss America, Heather French Henry?
Pablo Eric.
Jefferson County.
Incorrect. Mason County. Toss-up 31. Held at a slant when played, this instrument is about 4.5 feet tall and has a narrow bell at the top.
Johnson Kevin.
Double bass.
Incorrect. Held at a slant when played, this instrument is about 4.5 feet tall and has a narrow bell at the top. What instrument has a double reed and is pitched a musical 12th below an oboe?
Pablo Eric.
Double bassoon.
Judge?
Incorrect.
Incorrect. A bassoon. Toss-up 32. Called the wickedest man in San Francisco, he traveled to Mexico at the age of 71 and was never heard from again.
Pablo Feroz.
Ambrose Bierce.
Correct. Bonus 33. Find all values of x such that the absolute value of the quantity x minus 2 equals 6.
8 negative 4.
Correct. Toss-up 34. This biome is prevalent in Central and Eastern Africa. What biome?
Johnson Josh. Savannah.
Correct. Bonus 35. Although China is currently the world's most populous nation, this nation is on pace to assume that position by the middle of the 21st century. Which Asian nation is it?
India.
Correct. Toss-up 36. Let's see how well you know your bagpipes. What is the cylindrical or conical bore called on which the melody is played?
Pablo Eric.
Jerome.
Incorrect.
Johnson Kevin.
Chanter.
Correct. Bonus 37. The paths of glory lead but to the grave. What author wrote these words in his elegy written in a country churchyard?
Thomas Gray.
Correct. Toss up 38. Find the coordinates of the y-intercept of the line with the, of the x-intercept of the line with the equation y equals 3/4 x minus 6.
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 39. A special name is given to the industrial synthesis of ammonia from hydrogen and nitrogen gases. What is the name of this chemical reaction developed by a Nobel Prize-winning German chemist?
Paper process.
Correct.
Time out.
Time out. Number 40 is a toss-up. The Holy Roman Empire was on the map for nearly 1,000 years, but many joke that it was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Identify the man who became the first.
Johnson Kevin.
Charlemagne.
Incorrect. I'll complete. The Holy Roman Empire was on the map for nearly 1,000 years, but many joke that it was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire. Identify the man who became the first Holy Roman Emperor in 962.
Raphael Lance.
Martel.
Incorrect. Otto the First. Toss-up 41. In the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Cats, which of the jellicles is called the Glamour Cat and sings the haunting song Memory?
Pablo Keith.
Susan.
Incorrect.
Johnson Swathi.
Incorrect. Grisabella. Toss-up 42. The year 1847 was a remarkable year in the history of literature. That was the year of the publication of Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre.
Papa Eric.
Incorrect, I'll complete. The year 1847 was a remarkable year in the history of literature. That was the year of the publication of Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, and what novel by Anne Bronte about a poor English governess?
Johnson Swarthy.
Correct. Bonus 43. A radioactive isotope has a half-life of 10 days. If 100 grams of the isotope are currently radioactive, how many grams of that isotope will remain radioactive after 20 days?
$25
Correct. Toss up 44. What name is given to the elements in group 2 of the periodic table?
Johnson Josh. Alkali earth metals.
Correct. Bonus 45. Address to the Christian nobility of the German nation was the work of what German monk who launched the Protestant Reformation?
Martin Luther.
Correct. Toss up 46. Give the name of the ballet position in which the dancer stands on one.
Papa Eric.
Correct. Bonus 47. By the late 18th century, the leading literary center of Russia was what second largest Russian city?
St. Petersburg.
Correct. Toss up 48. Express the square root of 48 in simplest form.
Papa Baraz.
Correct. Bonus 49. In protein biochemistry, the term primary structure refers to the linear sequence of what monomers that are linked together by peptide bonds?
Bases.
Incorrect, Captain.
Amino acids.
Correct. Toss up 50. Georges Braque and Pablo Picasso.
Papa Eric.
Cubism.
Correct. And that's the half. It holds that science and scientific methods are the only source.
Johnson Kevin.
Naturalism.
Incorrect. I'll complete. It holds that science and scientific methods are the only sources of knowledge. Name this 19th century philosophy originated by the French philosopher Auguste Comte.
Papa Eric.
Positivism.
Correct. Bonus 2. As a youth, he trained for the civil service and he held many government positions throughout his lifetime. He was also an accomplished writer whose works embraced the customs and folklore of the Russian peasantry. Identify this 19th century Russian author of Eugene Onegin and Boris Godunov. Correct. Toss up 3. A 10-sided die has spaces numbered 1 through 10. With the probability, what is the probability you will roll a prime number?
Papa Baraz.
Correct. Toss up, bonus 4. The end point of a titration is defined as the point at which the concentrations of the base and acid forms of the indicator are equal. What is the stage at which the actual acid-base reaction of the titration is complete?
Neutral.
Incorrect, Captain.
Disney Josh.
I don't know.
Toss up 5. Currently one of the most industrialized countries in Africa, this country was occupied by Great Britain in 18...
Johnson Willie.
Egypt.
Correct. Bonus 6. Archaeological digs revealing the first use of the horse as a beast of burden and the wheel are part of what ancient culture whose name translate as land between the rivers in Greek?
Mesopotamia.
Correct. Toss up 7. Convicted for embezzlement, this author spent almost 4 years.
Papa Lance.
Oh, Henry.
Correct. Bonus 8. Find the 10th term of the sequence that begins 7, 11, 15, and so on. Correct. Toss up 9. A single proton is one of the 2 products of the radioactive decay of a neutron.
Johnson Josh.
Electron.
Correct. Bonus 10. After World War I, a civil war between the whites and the reds occurred in what country?
Soviet Union.
Incorrect, Captain.
Russia.
Correct. Toss-up 11. In 1976, who won a Tony Award for directing the musical?
Johnson Kevin.
Mel Brooks.
Incorrect, I'll complete. In 1976, who won a Tony Award for directing the musical A Chorus Line?
Pablo Faraz.
Correct. Bonus 12. A firm believer in the ability of science to create a more perfect world, what science fiction author wrote such classic tales as The Invisible Man and The Time Machine?
H.G. Wells.
Correct. Toss-up 13. This question requires a multi-part answer. Find the coordinates for the x-intercepts of the ellipse with equation x squared over 36.
Johnson Swathi.
Plus or minus 6 comma 0.
Correct.
Correct. Bonus 14. What chemical process defined as the direct phase change of a gas to its solid state without passing through the liquid phase is the opposite of sublimation?
Deposition.
Correct. Excuse me. Toss-up 15. Identify the man, a longtime prisoner in his own country, who was elected as the...
Johnson Willie.
Mandela.
Correct. Bonus 36. Identify by name and number the first Bourbon king of France who in 1598 issued the Edict of Nantes, which granted extended rights to the Protestants in France.
Henry IV.
Correct. Toss-up 17. We real cool and...
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 18. Simplify the expression, the quantity x squared plus 6x minus 16 divided by the quantity x minus 2.
X plus 8.
Correct. Excuse me. Toss-up 19. An object that falls toward the Earth encounters an increasing resistive force that...
Johnson Josh.
Terminal velocity.
Correct. Bonus 20. Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised black gloved fists in a protest against U.S. racism in the 1968 Olympics. In what city were these Olympics held?
Munich.
Incorrect. Captain?
St. Lance. Paris.
Incorrect. Mexico City. Toss-up 21. As punishment for giving fire to man.
Johnson Swathi.
Zeus.
Incorrect. I'll complete. As punishment for giving fire to man, this titan's liver was eaten each day by an eagle, but
Pablo Faraz.
correct. Bonus 22. Irina, Masha, and Olga are the title characters in what 1901 drama by Russian playwright Anton Chekhov?
Three Sisters.
Correct. Toss-up 23. In a group of 40 students, 27 are taking calculus and 25 are taking physics. If each student is taking at least one of the classes, how many are taking both classes? Toss-up 24. Assume that a heat pump does 80 joules of work to transfer 200 joules of energy in the form of heat into a house. What is the coefficient of performance of this heat pump?
Johnson Kevin.
0.4.
Incorrect.
Pablo Faraz.
25.
Correct. Bonus 25. Written to govern colonial trade, it stated that all goods carried to and from England must be transported by British shipmen and chiefly by British sailors. Identify this act, which further provided that certain articles were to be exported to England only.
Navigation Act.
Correct. Toss-up 26. They dwelt on the coast of North Africa and lived on a fruit that...
Johnson Swathi.
Forest.
Incorrect, I'll complete. They dwelt on the coast of North Africa and lived on a fruit that made them forget the past and live in blissful innocence. Name this race of carefree people from Greek mythology who were the subject of an 1832...
Pablo Eric.
Lotus Eaters.
Correct. Bonus 27. A young boy wishes to attend an extravagant bazaar in Dublin so that he might purchase a gift for the woman he loves. But he arrives at the bazaar only to find it closed. Name this story found in James Joyce's Dubliners.
Isn't it Eric? Araby.
Correct. Toss-up 28. Consider the function y equals -6 cosine 2x. What is the amplitude?
Johnson Swathi.
Correct. Bonus 29. In the physics of wave motion, a condensation refers to a compressed region of a longitudinal wave. What term refers to a region of a longitudinal wave that has a longer wavelength, usually a region of low pressure?
Doesn't it, Josh?
Rarefaction.
Correct. Toss up 30. Millions for defense, but not one.
Johnson Josh.
XYZ affair.
Correct. Bonus 31. In what type of modern treatment method are scented materials such as candles and oils used to evoke positive sensations through the use of pleasurable odors?
Aromatherapy.
Correct. Toss
I'm
up
out.
32.
Time out.
Born into slavery, he became the most famous of all.
Papa Lance.
Quantum?
Incorrect. I'll complete. Born into slavery, he became the most famous of all black abolitionists. Identify this 19th century orator whose autobiography was titled My Bondage and My Freedom.
Johnson Swansea.
Correct. Bonus 33. Convert 45 degrees to radian measure.
Pi over 4.
Correct. Toss up 34. According to the Biot-Savart law of physics, a current in a wire produces what physical phenomenon?
Johnson Josh.
Magnetic field.
Correct. Bonus 35. He was shot on April 14th and died a day later. Identify this president who was murdered at Ford's Theater while viewing Our American Cousin in 1865.
Abraham Lincoln.
Correct. Toss up 36. The popular mystery writer Sue Grafton is known for her series of novels that makes use of different letters of the alphabet. In her series, she uses A to stand for alibi, D to stand for deadbeat, and J to stand for...
Papa Lance.
Correct. Bonus 37. Instead of saying toilet, you might say restroom, and instead of referring to someone as dead, you might say they've passed away. In doing so, you are using what literary device in which an agreeable word or expression is substituted for one that is potentially offensive?
Euphemism?
Correct. Toss up 38. Find the vertex angle of an isosceles triangle whose base angles measure 38 degrees each.
Pablo Feroz.
104 degrees.
Correct. Bonus 39. Identify the discoverer of the two donut-shaped belts of protons and electrons surrounding the Earth and trapped by the terrestrial magnetic field.
Van Allen?
Correct. Toss up 40. In 1905, the Industrial Workers of the World was founded.
Pablo Eric.
Eugene Debs.
Incorrect. I'll complete. In 1905, the Industrial Workers of the World was founded. In what city was it founded? The same city that was the site of the Haymarket Square riots almost 20...
Johnson Swansea.
Correct. Bonus 41. They Died with Their Boots On, Captain Blood, and The Adventures of Robin Hood are three movies starring what swashbuckling actor of the 1930s?
James Cagney.
Incorrect.
His name Lance. Errol Flynn.
Correct. Toss up 42. Examples include who, whose, which, and what. What type?
Pablo Eric.
Relative pronoun.
Incorrect. I'll complete. Examples include who, whose, which, and what. What type of pronouns are used to introduce a question?
Johnson Swansea.
Correct. Bonus 43. Express as a single trigonometric function. Cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta.
Cosine 2 theta.
Correct. Toss up 44. Identify the astronomical phenomenon that causes a comet.
Johnson Josh.
Parallax.
Incorrect. I'll complete. Identify the astronomical phenomenon that causes a comet to develop an ion tail.
Awful Keith.
Incorrect. Solar wind. Toss up 45. It was one of the three turning points in World War II.
Johnson Willie.
El Alamein.
Incorrect. I'll complete. It was one of the three turning points in World War II in the main battle of the Pacific Theater.
Pablo Eric.
Battle of Midway.
Correct. Bonus 46. In Thornton Wilder's Our Town, in what state is Grover's Corners?
New Hampshire.
Correct. Toss up 47. A heptarchy is defined.
Pablo Eric.
7.
Correct. Bonus 48. Differentiate the expression 3 sine 2x with respect to x.
Sure. 6 goes on 2x.
Correct. Toss up 49. What 7-letter geological term refers to hydrated aluminum hydroxide?
Pablo Eric.
Oxide.
Correct. Bonus 50. This question requires a multiple answer. Identify the former secretaries of state that served as the representatives for their respective political parties in the post-2000 presidential election controversy.
James Baker and Christopher.
Baker and one.
Incorrect. Captain?
Says Nick Josh.
Incorrect. Baker and Christopher.